What is up, everybody? I'm still out of town, but still wanting to update on Big Brother. Hopefully, my audio is decent. Wanted to make a quick video before tonight's vote as we get closer and closer to tonight's vote. The vote is pretty much made up, kinda, especially if Amy's on the block. And a lot of that is Amy's fault. She's basically given up. So, Amy going home tonight, she did it to herself. Rachel tried very hard to save her in the game, but Amy never really tried herself. So, Amy, if you go home, I don't really know why you almost quit your job to go on this season if you weren't actually going to play. Doesn't make any real sense there. Now, the interesting part of tonight's vote lies in Adrien, because Adrien has the votes to stay against both Amy and Will. However, all of this talk within the house is that the house really wants Will to stay. Ava had to be the one to let Vince and Lauren know that the votes were there for Adrien against Amy. But then she also kind of reinforced that belief that the votes aren't there against Will. But much like I said yesterday, there are 7 people that want to vote for Adrien to stay. And if they were to just do that, then Adrien would have the votes to stay, because Vince, Zach, Keanu, Riley, who would vote with Kat, Lauren, and I'm forgetting someone, but there's Callie. Yes, so there's 7 people that would vote for Adrien if they all were to vote that way. Because of all this talk about what the house wants, if somehow Will and Adrien end up on the block, if somehow Amy actually tries in the blockbuster competition, then that will be a close vote, even though it wouldn't be if everyone would just vote the way they plan on doing. Now, in my opinion, Adrien could have had some better talks to make certain that he was going to stay in the game. The problem is he doesn't really have a social game. Some of his conversations yesterday and last night were a little lacking in really nailing down that he should be the one to stay in the game. I think if Adrien had an actual better read on everything, like some people think he does, then he would know he has the votes to stay, but he just does not have this immaculate read on the game that he and some of his fans think he does. Now, for Adrien's credit, he didn't really have a chance in his conversation with Kat. You know, Kat is that Peter Griffin meme where you see the shades of skin color, and Adrien's just a little too dark for Kat to want to have some intense, real game conversations with him. As I talked about in my video about Kat yesterday, with the black people, Kat was the one awkward in that conversation with Adrien, in my opinion, looking like she could care less, even though she has had conversations that keeping Adrien would be not necessarily best for her game, but would hurt some of the players' games that she thinks she's up against, like the Morgan and Mickey's. And she would probably be right about that if she had the game awareness to talk to Adrien about that. But the same kind of also goes for Adrien. I still would kind of like Adrien to go. It's not probably going to happen. I do think Amy likely goes tonight unless she somehow wins that competition that I don't even know she's going to try in. Because, like I said, she has kind of given up, and I think she thinks she's going home. And I don't know if she has the fight in her, but maybe she will surprise us and things will really get rattled tonight with the vote. I only kind of want Adrien to still go because I just know he's going to piss me off at some point. I've been talking about Big Brother for like 5 years now on this channel. And the male self-proclaimed superfans always piss me off. And then social media always makes excuses for them. But every single self-proclaimed superfan of these last few seasons, especially like the Corys, they either do 2 stupid things or both. But they either try and like cling to the players that are not only as good or better than them at competitions, but also are better than them socially. Corey has such a shit social game, and Adrien so far does too, but he's like really close to the Vinces and the Zachs, and he seems really loyal to them right now. But they're better than him socially for sure. I think they will also be as good as him in competitions. It's just this type of gameplay that never makes sense to me. Why somebody who's clearly stunted socially would really try and help players that are already better than them socially. It irks me. Yesterday, Adrian ratted out Ashley to Vince that she was saying that Vince is a huge target. Once again, showing that Adrian has this loyalty to Vince, this loyalty to Zach. And I mean, I will say they do have loyalty to him right now in that they want him to stay. Long term, though, I just don't know what Adrian's game plan is keeping both Vince and Zach in the game. Also, that conversation really should have hurt the Adrian and Ashley showmance fans out there. I think that definitely hurt Adrien or whatever the hell y'all are trying to call those two, because Adrian kind of threw her under the bus. Then, yesterday, Zach and Ashley were getting close, allegedly. And Zach did tell her some interesting information personally, that he's no longer interested in Lauren personally because he doesn't like to chase women and Lauren wants to be chased. And then people started shipping Zach and Ashley. But the fact of the matter is that the night before last, Zach was telling Vince that he was going to get close to Ashley and then fuck up her world if he ever wins HOH. So I just consider that kind of a part of Zach's plan. But then on the other end of that, as I've been saying, Zach should not want to win HOH. So this whole plan to get close to Ashley and then screw her, I don't think that's a real plan, because I don't think Zach wants to win HOH right now, or at least he shouldn't because of the game he's playing. I don't know. Zach's kind of hard to read. He's playing a good game, but he says some things sometimes that are questionable. And then with the whole Zach and Morgan drama, Zach's in a lot of the soap opera though too. And I don't know if that's good for his game or bad for his game, but the whole little soap opera with Zach, Morgan, and Lauren continues to develop. Last night, Zach was the one with his arm wrapped very tightly around Morgan when they were sitting next to each other on the couch. And even Ava clocked them and has been asking questions about how close are Zach and Morgan really? Are they actually going to be the showmans? I don't think that Zach has necessarily switched from wanting to be with Lauren to wanting to be with Morgan. I don't even know if I believe that Zach doesn't still want Lauren personally, just that he doesn't want to chase her. Maybe Zach is just trying to play Morgan because it's pretty obvious that she's down bad for him, and so maybe that's his plan. I could see that happening if he's smart, and he seems mostly smart. I mean, he says some things, like I said, that I don't necessarily agree with, but he's been smart so far in this game. Still the only person that hasn't told anyone about their secret power, and that alone is a huge deal in a Big Brother season because these people are so chatty. Then last night, though, to add to the soap opera and bring in my girl Ashley, who loves to just stir shit up, Zach was hugging both Morgan and Ashley last night before bed. And a couple of nights ago, Zach called Morgan mom, jokingly, although that was kind of like, Morgan, listen, girl, you're in the friend zone. Because if you're getting called mom, that's pretty bad. Morgan went on to say how bad she hates being called mom. She don't like that, which, like, she shouldn't like that. She's barely in her 30s. She's younger than me, for fuck's sake, so I could understand why she doesn't like to be called that. But then before bed, when Zach was hugging Ashley before bed, which he did twice, and when Morgan was hugging Ashley before bed, Ashley said that Morgan hugs like a mom, which cracked me up because Ashley knows that Morgan doesn't like to be called mom and knows that she has this thing for Zach. Ashley's such a little shit stir. She just cracks me up. Within all this soap opera, though, is that apparently Zach is saving himself for marriage, allegedly. According to Jimmy, we know he's religious and all that. I don't believe that Zach's saving himself for marriage. I don't believe he's a virgin. Ava was appalled that Zach might be one. Or at least didn't understand why. I mean, there is some evidence that maybe he is because he doesn't want to chase Lauren, but I don't know if I'm buying all that. Anyway, I've been rambling too long about this soap opera, but that was kind of the main thing on Feeds last night, in my opinion, was the Zach, Morgan, Lauren soap opera with Ashley stirring the pot like she does best and just saying her direct Sagittarius things. Let's talk about a few other things before I end this video. Bad Vibes 1 and Bad Vibes 2 are getting really close, in my opinion. That being Bad Vibes 1 being Kat, as I've discussed in yesterday's video. Bad Vibes 2 being Rylie, which I've discussed since the feed started. He's creepy, he's weirdo. But they're kind of meant for each other, I think. I think they're the only two people with a real shot at a showmance, which is going to be gross and going to make the feeds even more unwatchable than they've been the past 2 days with all the feed cuts. This morning, though, they were hugging all up on each other. And after their hug, Rylie even had to adjust his junk. So, that's all I'm saying. Something's there. I hate it because they're both gross and they're both very bad vibes. I saw someone online say that they wish Ashley knew that Rylie had kids outside of the house that he doesn't seem to take care of, because Ashley could ask Kat if she's ready to be a mom. And that is totally something Ashley would bluntly ask. So I do wish Ashley had that information to entertain me more than she already does. With Rachel probably losing Amy this week, since that seems pretty clear, Rachel approached Ava for a final two yesterday. Ava was excited but didn't actually get a chance to say yes because Jimmy walked right in. Ava also has a final two with Lauren. Ava's in a really good spot. Her name never comes up as a target. I think socially, Ava is actually in the best spots, especially where the women are concerned, because a lot of the other women are huge targets. In fact, every other woman gets brought up as a name for a target at some point. Maybe Lauren slightly less than the others, but not really, because she's so attached to Kat that I think she would go up on the block just because of that. Ava's name never comes up as a target. Ava's in a good spot. She's in the right alliances with men too that seem to like her. People are trying to bring her into alliances. As I said the other night, Mickey and Ava bonded over their disdain for Kat, and now Mickey's wanting to bring Ava all the way to the final five, which was not something happening a few days ago. So good job, Ava. Would love an Ava win this season. Maybe she'll get there. Last thing I want to talk about, there was a celebration last night for the have-nots being able to eat. Kelly came in because they were being too loud. She was with this party pooper telling them to be quiet because both Adrian and Will were trying to sleep. Both were asleep, though, when Kelly was out there complaining. I don't know. Kelly knows how to stay a target. Everyone thinks she's a liar. She thinks she's like the best competition star this season. Maybe she will be. She's winning comps, although her last comp to win the veto power was stupid. I don't know. I don't know what to make of Kelly, but I kind of want her to stay a target because she still does get on my nerves, although I would prefer Bad Vibes 1 or Bad Vibes 2 out before her. Tonight, I want an Ashley HOH very badly. I think that would be the most entertaining outcome because Ashley is the most entertaining person in the house. But a Rachel HOH seems inevitable. I don't know if it will be tonight, but Rachel could be in danger in the coming weeks. And Rachel HOH is probably coming. But for tonight's comp, some of the players probably aren't even going to try to win, and some of the players probably shouldn't try to win because of the messy alliances all around the house game that they're playing. We'll see, though. Tonight's an interesting episode for HOH that will dictate the next week and if I will be happy to watch it or upset because someone random like Lauren's the HOH. I don't think she's going to try, though. Lauren would not know what to do as HOH. Someone could run her HOH very easily. Jimmy probably thinks he could do that because he's gotten close to them, but it would probably just be Kat. Who knows, though? I don't know. I feel like someone random has a possibility of winning tonight. As for the vote, though, like I said at the beginning, Adrian should have the votes against anyone, but because of the house being like, they want to vote with the house, and the house seems to want to keep Will, he is still possibly in danger against Will, but that requires Amy to win the blockbuster competition, and that's not going to happen. Or that could be famous last words.